Welcome to Design30. My name is Jason Bilyeu, and in this podcast, I provide design strategies and tools to improve creativity, innovation, and overall design confidence. Hey everybody, I know what you're thinking. This is Tuesday, it's not Monday. You always put out episodes on Monday. What's the deal? If you saw my Instagram or my Twitter, then you probably know I was driving. I had a nice early morning yesterday driving back to Bozeman from Spokane, Washington. So unfortunately, I was on the road and wasn't able to post my usual Monday episode. I did give it a shot. I tried to post from the road. I stopped at a small coffee shop in Kellogg, Idaho called The Beanery, which actually had really good drip coffee. And I tried to post a quick update from there, but for some reason, my podcast host would not accept the uploads from there, even though I was using the right file type. So not sure what happened there, but I was really going for that streak. As I've talked about before, there is a lot of benefits to keeping a streak going. Seth Godin talks about this quite a bit, that it's really important just to show up every day or the same day every week and to post and to create. So that was my goal. I was trying to continue that streak of Monday releases, but I tried my best and things just did not work out. So here I am on Tuesday, recording just what will probably be a quick, more of an update episode. I just have a few things I want to touch on, and then next week we'll get back to the regular episodes coming out on Mondays. So the first thing I wanted to touch on is a random thought I had while I was driving, as I did a lot of driving this weekend. I had a lot of time for random thoughts, which is actually part of what I really enjoy about driving. It's fun to just, go off on random thoughts and dive deep, and you don't really have to focus on anything other than driving. And so it's kind of almost like a not quite meditative state, but in a lot of ways it is. I try not to I don't get too relaxed, still driving as safe as I can. But yeah, it's nice to just kind of unplug from a lot of stuff. You don't really have anything else you can possibly be doing while you're driving. You're just focused on driving. You don't have to worry about, or you don't have to think about all these other random things that you have to get done because you can't do anything about it anyways. You're in the car driving. So one of the thoughts I had is kind of this idea around problem solving and diving into root cause. And I actually tweeted something out about it, so I'm going to read that real quick. I said, attributing causation casually will make you less likely to solve the actual problem. Social acceptance and political correctness shouldn't, but often do, prevent you from finding the root cause. And so my thinking here was, you need to be a little bit careful attributing the cause of something casually, right? Sometimes there's social pressure, sometimes there's pressure from being politically correct to put just to have a specific standardized response of like, oh, well, that is this. And, for example, it's pretty easy just to be like, oh, well, if something is electric, it's better for the environment without actually thinking through all of the implications of what it means to actually make that electric device. There's a lot of things that could be poorly made, they could be poorly sourced, they could be very dirty to create and are actually a net negative for the environment. But just because it's marketed as quote unquote green or electric or a lot of things like that doesn't necessarily mean that it's always better. So in that case, if you think, oh, well, issues with the climate are because of carbon dioxide emitting vehicles or, just some very simple response like that, you're not actually thinking deep enough to the root cause of what's actually going on. The root cause is actually usually way more complicated than we care to think about or we have time to think about. But if you're really serious about solving the problem, you have to go a level deeper. You can't keep it at the surface level cliche response, right? Unfortunately, you have to do your homework. And most things that are big problems also have a very complicated root cause. And it takes quite a bit of research. It takes quite a bit of time reading and really doing your homework on these things to understand what's going on and understand what's the best way that you can respond to that problem, whether that's with the way you vote or whether that's the way you buy things, whether that's the way you consume energy, all these different things, right? There's a lot of complication to it. And if you simply accept just these simple standardized responses, you may never actually truly understand the problem or truly be able to address it. So that was one of the things I thought about this weekend, is just like being careful with these responses that we assume are true or we've just taken on. We just heard it once, or it could be something they didn't hear once. You hear it all the time maybe, and so you think, oh, well, that must be, the right thing to believe. But you got to do your homework on these things to fully understand the implications of what's going on, fully understand how you can act to address it. And a lot of times you can't address it on a global scale, right? The best place for you to address most things is on the local scale, whether that's your family or whether that's your community. So you almost always have to start small and start local. And then my second driving thought, or my second point I wanted to make on this episode, just of something else I was thinking about this weekend, is I'm really impressed with people's interest in design thinking. I had multiple conversations this weekend about how design thinking can be used in multiple different industries and how people are really interested in these methods and how they're so much bigger than just design that is the way it's traditionally understood, so much bigger than graphic design and so much bigger than just looking at the aesthetics of something, right? Like design, there's this saying that design isn't just how it looks, design is how it works, right? And I think you can use these methodologies. It's essentially just a way of looking at the world, understanding the world, a way of probing the world and getting responses and feedback on how something's designed, how something should work, how something should be displayed, how something should be researched, right? And so I had one conversation about it from a marketing side of things, and one of my friends recently did his MBA and took a lot of classes on design thinking and how to implement it in a marketing or from a marketing point of view. And then I had another really awesome conversation about, well, I'm not going to go into too much detail yet. I think there will be probably more things coming out about this in the future. But essentially that there's some really cool things that people are working on, and there's a lot of passion out there for teaching people these design thinking skills and design skills in general, and how they can be used in just a plethora, I'm going to use that word, a plethora of different situations, just tons of different situations. If you learn these core skills, that you can apply them and get a lot of benefit out of them in a variety of different, almost every different industry that you can think of. I'm sure if you spent some time, you could come up with some way to implement some design thinking strategies and applying a lot of these core principles of design that I've been talking about on this podcast. There's just a ton of different ways that it can be applied. So that was my other thought, is just I'm really impressed with how many people are passionate about this and how many people are wanting to teach it and implement it and see the good and the impact that these skills can provide. And there's a lot of, we hear about so many problems in the world today. So I love to see these people who are actually taking steps towards trying to help solve those problems or help empower other people to solve those problems, and teaching them the skills they need to have, one, the confidence, and two, the ability to actually make a significant difference and a significant impact on their local community, on their local economy, and of course that always tends to drift out into the wider country and the wider world. So really, really encouraging weekend, really fun to see all the passion out there and these people doing really, really awesome, cool things. So I think that's all I'm going to have for this quick episode, probably just be a bonus episode. Again, I'll be back next Monday with a standard episode, and as usual, they will come out every Monday. While you're at it, you can go real quick and follow Design30 on Instagram. You can become a free or a paid subscriber on Substack. And then also, if you want to check out what Twitter is now called, which is just called X, the X app, I don't know what to call it. If you want to give that a look, and go ahead and give Design30 a follow on there. I've actually been enjoying it quite a bit over the last couple weeks. So that's just my take on it. Okay, I'm going to leave it there for now. As always, design more, despair less. Thanks for listening.